Is this why we're driving down this old road? To find your grandfather's old church?
Well, one of the reasons. He was a minister here for 10 years, a long time ago. I've never been here before.
But this river valley is deserted. We haven't even passed one car.
There's people around here, above those cliffs. It's a great farm all the way to Lake Michigan. Farms, forests, farms. Good farmland. Why are you changing your shoes?
Because I'm going into a church.
It's not Sunday. It's not even your church.
I want to look nice. I want to show respect. Carl, comb your hair. It's bad luck to clap in church.
That was nice. You brought a tear to my eye.
You sing?
Well, my aunt works in the National Church's liturgical office, and one summer, she and I and a few other people sang through the whole hymnal.
We didn't mean any harm. We're just tourists.
Your aunt?
Yes, back east.
Bertram, that's not right. On the Watts hymn, we use the alternative tune from the Maroon hymnal. Higher so Mrs. Albee can sing soprano.
Okay, so sorry, Reverend Torkelson, but that's how we do it at Trinity. Mrs. Grist said that any singer should be able to adapt to the...
That's not how we do it here. Sorry about that. People here just take their music so seriously. Alan Edmonds.
I beg your pardon?
Your shoes, Alan Edmonds.
Oh, yes, that's right.
I had a pair myself once. Switched to Johnston & Murphy's, Alden's, sometimes Church's.
They make a good shoe. My mom bought me a pair of churches when I graduated, Burton Cardivans. I still have them, but I've had to resold them 3 times since I've had them. Guys at work always wear churches or Bally's. Never had a pair of Bally's.
Oh, of course not. No American man could ever wear Bally's. Wow, look at you. Welcome, both of you. Welcome to my church. I'm Reverend Torkelson. Where are you from?
Well, I'm visiting from New York. The scenery is beautiful here.
You're not originally from New York.
Well, no. I was born in Brazil. My father in Brazil's foreign legation to the U.S. But I've lived most of my life in America.
We both live in New York. We're both just tourists.
Well, we're all tourists. We don't get many tourists here, especially in the dead of winter. Where in New York?
I have an apartment in Queens, and Carl...
Down in Soho. I got 2 roommates, Harriman bankers, complete slobs. Thinking about moving uptown just to escape them.
New York, my old stomping grounds. Took 3 years of seminary there before I switched denominations. So, you two live across town from each other. How do you ever get together?
Well, I find it's about as easy to get Olympia out here as it is to get her to Flushing, to tell you the truth. But it's easier in Olympia here. Not that they no longer check the passports at the East River.
Well, I guess love conquers all. So you two come all the way down here just to look at our little church?
Well, I got a couple of clients in the state capital upriver. Have a few days in between meetings, so Olympia flew in and we decided to take a drive. Sort of chose this route. My grandfather was a minister for 10 years.
Really? What's his name?
Frank Odinson?
No. No, couldn't have been this church.
Freddie Odinson. He was the minister at St. Marguerite. Oh, that burned down 12, 13, maybe longer years ago. Oh, they never rebuilt it. That congregation was quite small. Many of the people are members of this church. A young man, Odinson, was he your grandfather?
Yes, that's my name too. Carl Denson. This is Olympia.
Thank you, Bertram.
You want to see where your grandfather's church was? It's about 10 miles south of here. There's a historical marker, not for the church, but for the cliff above it. Maybe it's about 12 miles from here.
12 miles?
Or, well, 13.
Thank you, Bertram. I'll assist these people.
Yes, there's a historical marker there, but it's a historical marker for some cliff of some sort. Most beautiful part of the valley. I drive by it every day.
12 miles south of here?
Something like that. Probably a few charred timbers and that historical marker.
Reverend Tarkelson, is there anywhere to get some food around here or a hotel?
Not really. There might be a bed and breakfast, but I'm not sure. I don't live down here. I drive in from town. They have a wonderful hotel and a great bar. Max, he's the bartender.
We stayed there last night. Well, we'll let you get back to your sermon.
My sermon, and that's right. I've been sitting back in my office for hours trying to write something, and I keep coming up with the same old stories about the same random acts of charity. And then I realize I've used them in all my sermons.
How about something about how it's so cold and snowy outside and spring is on its way?
I might take you up on that suggestion. So is your grandfather's dead?
About 15 years now.
He did God's work, your grandfather. Mission days in China, and prisoner of the Japanese, stays on the Amazon.
He never shook the malaria.
Well, Plato says there are men of silver, men of bronze, and men of gold. Your grandfather, he was a man of gold. Sounds like I might have a sermon there. I'm halfway done.
Well, I'm glad I could help out.
Great to meet you, Mr. Odinson. I'll tell Mrs. Lonsby that I met Reverend Odinson's grandson. She'll be pleased.
Thank you for playing so beautifully.
Your aunt. She's a liturgist.
That's right.
Could you give her these?
Well, what are they?
Hymns written based on Bach pieces. Some of these pieces have never been heard.
I think everything Bach has written must be performed somewhere.
Not these. Just give them to her. They're in German and Swedish. I've been translating them.
Well, these aren't your only copies, I hope.
Oh, no, they're not my only copies. Thank you. I have to get back.
And if she wants to publish these, how do we contact you?
I'll still be here.
Thank you.